Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Giulio. Welcome to the 10 Years Podcast. Today is the 22nd of January 2025 and is a very special day if you are a Jeff Beck fan. I have registered on the Christie's website to take part to the live streaming. I know there's going to be a live streaming on YouTube, but I want to make sure to be present virtually at the auction at Christie's through their official website. I saw some of the items that are starting at a price of £100, so I might chance my way in. Hi guys, we're going to start the Jeff Beck collection Christie's overview. This is going to be a quick one. And I want to focus first on a few items because there's like 168 items or something like that, and they're all listed as lots. Now this is the Christie's website virtual tour of the collection, which I believe will stay live on the website even after the auction, which is happening today, 22nd of January 2025. But I want to make sure to check first a few things that really caught my eye. Particularly, I want to start with the small performance pedalboard, especially if you're a guitar player. You're going to be particularly intrigued to know what Jeff Beck was using when performing live. I'm not sure what it means to small performance pedalboard, but probably it's for, not a tour or a massive gig. And for sure it's not for studio because he has a dedicated pedalboard just for studio reasons. This one is mounted on a Pedaltrain pedalboard, which is a classic choice for any guitar player which is into stone boxes. And it has a very interesting choice of pedals. In particular, I see the Charlie Stinger Wah, which I think is called Whine-O-Wah. And I see also the Hughes Electronics Aqua-Puss Analogue Delay pedal, which is right here. And a very popular pedal, especially I think about 15-20 years ago, which is the tube Rotosphere, the MK2. Now, this pedalboard is currently listed for £3,000-5,000 value. If I look into the info and details, the Christie's website allows me to see more detailed photos of the pedalboard. So in this photo from the top, you can see that it's a very minimalistic pedalboard, and pretty much, delay, a little bit of boost, wah pedal, and just like classic power source. And I see BIS boxes in this one, in this photo from the top. Even in the other photo and in one of the next photos, we're going to see a Voodoo Lab 2 power source. Using pedals, being able to have a reliable power source is always a big deal for guitar players. As far as the usage of these pedals, the sound that Jeff was probably using is something that heavily relied on having a little bit of delay, like that slap sound that you can hear in albums like, Wired and There and Back. If you know Jeff Beck, these albums are probably some of his most famous works. Then here is a close-up of the Rotosphere. Then we have the Whine-O-Wah and Snarling dogs. Very particular choice as far as pedals. And then, this is the Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2 Plus, which is, again, a classic choice for source of power. The hard case. And this is a photo of Jeff Beck playing in Las Vegas. This is at the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. And I see that the photo states that the performance was dated 2013. And we can see him clearly using the Whine-O-Wah pedal. We also see another interesting choice, which is the Bill Finnegan Klon Professional Overdrive. I'm not sure if the knobs are in the exact position as Jeff was using them live, and coming back to the previous photos, but I can see that he's rocking a Marshall stack, and probably his signature guitar. Pretty sure this is his signature guitar. But in the previous photos, when we look at the pedals from the top, we can definitely see that the dials might be in the same position where Jeff was using them, especially for the analog delay. It's a bit of a weird choice to have 0 delay or maybe 0.1 and then having a mix of 60%. For those of you out there that are playing guitar, you know what I mean. But this is a great item, and I'm making sure to cover more about this item in the next video, which is gonna come out tomorrow. And from the small performance pedal board, we're gonna head into another very interesting item. So we're gonna stay in the world of Jeff Beck, custom sounds, which is obviously heavily dictated by his choice in pedals. And I want to go and see, as far as pedal and effects, what we have for the session pedal board, which is this one. And the session pedal board obviously is present in the walkthrough, the virtual gallery walkthrough. And I'm gonna post a screen share of my walkthrough, the Jeff Beck collection, after reviewing this pedal board, so stay tuned. The Jeff Beck session and studio pedal board is definitely a little bit more defined than the small performance pedal board, and I think this is because his choice when it comes down to studio was more related in having a sound more refined, especially if you think about the difference between sounds from People Get Ready, the song, and the early stuff like Lead Boots or Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. You do have a different choice of sounds, and I know that at some stage it was also using racks, so not necessarily sticking to pedals. But for this one, which is lot 114, we definitely have an interesting choice of sounds, very different from the small performance pedal board. And in particular, I see that the Christie's website lists the Dunlop Echoplex Delay pedal. We know that Jeff Beck loved to have that slap echo sound. And also we see that there is a humming ground Eliminator, a BIS box, which is also present, by the way, in the small performance pedal board. This box, the BI box, it was literally in charge of making sure that there is no annoying humming in the background, basically trying to have a clean sound. Now, this pedal board was also used live, and even it was called the studio pedal board. And we can see Jeff performing with Bill Gibbons from ZZ Top, which was in 2022. A very recent performance compared to the ones that are listed to the other pedal boards. What do I see here, which is definitely another classic choice, is a Delay Echoplex, and then an MXR pedal. Now this is a fuzz, so it's not an overdrive, it's a fuzz, which is a very interesting choice. I wonder if the knobs are again left, on purpose in this position, as if Jeff was going to use the pedal board, or they're just in a random position. For this, we really need a Jeff Beck nerd. Then the next one is the Archer. This is a really, really cool pedal that gives a boost to the signal, and quite rare. I remember when I was at Berkeley in Boston in the early 2000s, I was looking for one of those. I could get my hands on a compressor with 3 S's and to get that Santana sustain, but I couldn't get a hand on this one. Maybe it was low on stock. The other thing that to me is definitely a classic choice is the wah pedal. And the wah pedal, which is a crybaby wah, is the custom audio electronics wah pedal, which is right here. I've used this pedal several times in the mid-2000s. It has very nice, snappy, mid-range frequencies. And I'm looking forward to get a little bit more understanding on the Jeff Beck session and studio pedal board. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna share with you the walkthrough in the Jeff Beck collection at Christie's. And after that, we're gonna go back, check more pedals and a few guitars. you're back checking the Jeff Beck collection at Christie's. If you enjoy my videos, remember to subscribe, like and comment. Let me know what you think about the Jeff Beck collection. If you're a guitar player, for sure you heard about it, and if you didn't hear about it, for sure you're curious about knowing more about what Jeff Beck was playing. And if you're not familiar with the Jeff Beck catalog and his music, you definitely have to check his first 3 records, which are Blow by Blow, Wired, There and Back. Now, coming back to the Jeff Beck collection, we're gonna check the 3rd pedalboard. This time is the Stage Performance pedalboard. This is the big deal stuff for whoever is into Jeff Beck, and it's definitely a completely different story. Especially if you compare this pedalboard to the guy right here, which is the Small Performance, and the studio one. You can definitely see a lot more choice as far as sounds. But I do see a lot of pedals that are in common with the other pedalboards. In particular, the Crybaby right here. That's another choice that really shaped Jeff Beck's sound. I can see that, staying consistent also with the Archer Overdrive pedal, which is the gray guy over here. Definitely these pedals are the ones that have shaped Jeff Beck's sound for a long time. And the size of the pedalboard is, pretty big. Now, when we're gonna go here and check the effects, we see obviously, the pedalboard next to the, touring case, which is a beast, And then when we're gonna go a little bit more into details about what is inside this pedalboard, we're going to see, a few pedals that are again in common with other pedalboards, but also a few new sounds. Now, this is based on the last tour, which was in 2022. Here we go, it says over here. And it's also a choice of pedals that is based on probably 2 decades of experimenting with different sounds. Now, we see that there is also a talk box, and the talk box is, a choice of sound present in Blow by Blow pretty predominantly. Then, when we zoom in into the pedals, apart from obviously, the usual suspects and a Boss Super Octave pedal, we do see some interesting stuff. For example, next to a more classic MXR flanger, we see this guy here, the Shotgun by Radial, made in Canada, okay, which is a splitter, but at the moment I see that there's only one sound, coming out from the output, probably used to have either 2 amps at the same time or to split between 2 different types of sounds. Again, I'm gonna have a more in-depth review of this pedalboard in the following video, but for now we're just gonna browse through these effects, and I'm gonna skip the ones that pretty much any guitar player is familiar with, like the MXR Talkbox, the MXR Vintage Fuzz. Then we have a ventilator pedal. Now, this one has some interesting stuff going on. Now, as far as I know, when it comes down to sounds, Jeff Beck is used to have either a fuzz sound or an overdrive sound. Remembering that he loved to use the volume pedal to get different levels of distortion, or better say different levels of boost to get that sustain, because he was using a lot of feedback too sometimes, so he wanted probably to have a different choice of sounds. But as far as the ventilator chew pedal is definitely an interesting choice, mostly because it's a rotary speaker simulator, so it's to get that tremolo type of sound. Definitely a vintage choice, really cool choice. Again, more about the ventilator chew in the next video. Then we have the tremolo, so another tremolo sound. Even obviously the ventilator, it's a rotary speaker simulator. This was one of the pedals that I've been looking for ages, many years ago. Never managed to get a hand on it. But this pedal is definitely up there in my list of most my want list, basically my want list on zzsounds.com, which is one of those websites where you can get like interesting pedals. And this was the first collaboration between PAX AM and Ryan Adams and JHS Pedals, which are very specific pedals, guitar pedals manufacturing companies, and it has a really nice clean tone and one single stomp pedal. Now, if you're looking for something like the Cure sounds or the Smith sounds, this guy right here is definitely something you should check. And I'm talking about the VCR, not obviously the Empress pedal. This guy right here. Basically, it's like a signature reverb chorus boost pedal, all in one. Very straightforward and simple to use. You can get stuff from like sounding whole reverb sounds, which were also obviously a signature thing for Ryan Adams. And at the same time, you can get that 80s style analog sound. So it's a really interesting pedal, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about this because it's like a collection, it's like a nostalgia pedal for whoever is into 80s sounds. You can see that obviously from also the the choice of colors on the pedal. Now, up here we have another classic, very vintage sound, a ring modulator, okay? And in particular this one, this ring modulator, which is another, choice of, Jeff Beck, has been definitely something that has defined the sound of many guitar players. And in particular, the Maestro fans. So Maestro was a company that was manufacturing, pedals like this one for a long time. And the Maestro ring modulator is a very specific choice for a guitar player, especially, if you're looking for a vintage sound, this is definitely a go-to pedal. But if you're not into that, then, it's something that is definitely optional. Now, this ring modulator in particular, I see has the pitch range in the middle, so it's not high or low. And again, it's it's another very specific choice from Jeff Beck. I wonder if he was using this in a clean channel or a distortion sound channel. And I know also that there are clones of the Master ring modulator that are on sale, because I think this is actually a vintage pedal, so it's not manufactured. It's one of those pedals that they went out of manufacturing, like the Dimension C by Boss. But and also Electro-Harmonix did a Master ring modulator, like a reissue version, which is probably more accessible than this one. It's probably the most straightforward built-in oscillator ring modulator you can find in a pedalboard. And for the last item of this video, and I'm gonna add another walkthrough of the Jeff Beck collection, another little screen share video right after this last item review for this video at least, before I jump into the actual live auction at Christie's. I want to go a little bit more into details about this beauty right here, which is the infamous Jeff Beck Oxblood Les Paul. Now, this guitar was acquired by Jeff Beck a long time ago, and it was used in the Beck Bogart Apice Trio album, which contains a great version of I Ain't Superstition. And I also think they did Do You Think I'm Sexy, with Apice singing and playing the drums. This was in the late 1972, like something like November, December 1972. And he used this guitar as his primary guitar up until the mid-70s. So between 72 and 75, 76, he was using this guitar. And he was performing, like with the trio, the Bogart Apice Trio, when Apice was part of Vanilla Fudge, and he was in Vanilla Fudge from 1967. And then this guitar in particular, obviously, doesn't have a whammy pedal, whammy bar. It doesn't have a whammy bar, which is unusual for Jeff Beck, obviously, because he loved to have the option of bending strings or having as much expression as possible. Now, generally, In the 1970s, Jeff Beck was mainly associated with the white Fender Stratocaster, which was it was a great choice, but he was struggling to cut through the sound of two really powerful players, which were Bogart and Apice. So he went for a Les Paul, for a Gibson Les Paul. And obviously you can get a lot of information about this guitar, which is currently listed between $350,000 and £500,000, just by going on the details. And obviously it's a solid body electric guitar. And we see that his manufacturing states Michigan 54, which is an interesting note about that. We see that the bridge is slightly, tilted on the side. And I'm also seeing that Gibson did recently a reissue model of this guitar, which obviously doesn't run for $350,000, $500,000. And it's an interesting, alternative to the typical, Jeff Beck sound we're all used to, which is the Fender sound. And being able to hear him playing, a Les Paul, especially on that album, which you definitely have to check, because it's such a great, like early 70s rock fusion album with a bit of funk. He definitely has a Les Paul sound, but at the same time it has that typical, Jeff Beck mid-range sounds, but are mostly associated with Telecasters guitars. And I see a lot of details about the guitar in the the Christie's website, and obviously we have the serial number, states that as Andy Ball strap and strings, so they're probably trying to recreate the same situation where the guitar was left before Jeff Beck death. A little bit of signs of wear on this beautiful guitar, and we can see some of the details here. Some memorabilia. This is a classic Jeff Beck picture, which is taken. You see Carmine Apice here in the background playing drums. Crystal Palace Garden, London, 15 September 1973. So this is a classic, Jeff Beck. We can also see this speaker right here, which is, by the way, in the Christie's auction. Another interesting piece of history. Again, another photo with Beck performing live with Bogart and Apice. This one is 73. And, rocking the Oxblood Les Paul. And again, this one from 1975. This is a band photo. And Don Nix is in this photo too. It's coming up, which is right here. Another photo of Jeff Beck, this time playing the Les Paul Oxblood with Mick Ronson, which obviously is another piece of history, widely known for his work with David Bowie in the Ziggy and the Spider from Mars album. But Mick Ronson has been, a really popular musician and session player throughout 3 decades. Then this is Hammersmith 1973 for the retirement show of Ziggy Stardust and the Spider from Mars, which I believe is the show where Bowie basically announced, look, Ziggy's dead, this is the last show, let's have somebody join the stage as a special guest. I'll need to double check on that. I'll need some Bowie hardcore fans to confirm that. Another photo of Jeff playing the Oxblood as 1975, and this one again is 1975. And here is a really cool photo of back in 78 with some of his collection of guitars. I think pretty much everything you see in this photo is in the Christie's auction on sale. And we can see, Telecasters, Les Pauls, a Fender bass guitar, short scale, then, speakers, Marshall stacks, and obviously this one probably is one of his, most known guitar right here. And also I think this is the Oxblood. I think this guitar right here, Caster, was used a lot by Jeff between the mid 70s and the early 80s, and I need to double check on that. When I'm gonna do a full review of all the lots on the collection, I'm gonna go into details about the ears of each instrument. But first, I want to take part to the auction, so I'm gonna leave you for now, and please subscribe, like and comment, and I'll leave you with another walkthrough of the Jeff Beck collection at Christie's, and see you soon for the reaction to the live auction at Christie's. Ciao for now.